All right.
Yes.
We in this jump?
Yeah, we in there.
I never turned the fucking volume down on the phone.
My bad, bro.
Gotta edit that shit out. Alright.
My bad, bro. Damn.
Top.
Top. What's good? What's Gucci?
Top Hill. Episode 015.
Big 15.
015, y'all. This is Top Hill Podcast, the #1 hip hop culture podcast.
Black owned businesses as well.
Black business podcast, yes, absolutely. We on a special time. This is a different day. You know what I mean?
This is the last day of 2019.
The last
ladies and gentlemen.
day of the decade of the year. What is y'all doing right now?
This was the most ghetto year ever,
Oh
bro.
my God. Why you say it's the most ghetto year ever?
It's just a weird time, bro. Like, I feel like, well, the world has always, every year it gets worse and worse. That alone. Then the music was, we could argue about that. The music wasn't really that good this year.
Yeah.
I feel like fashion wasn't really that good. That's my opinion. It's just 2019.
It was interesting. Yeah, I feel like it's a year of transition. I feel like a lot of people started getting into their bag. They're focusing on the new decade ahead, and that's fine.
The weather was ghetto. Here in the DMV.
Yeah, I mean, in Maryland we get all crazy seasons. So, but anyway, we go ahead and just introduce ourselves. I'm EmoneyBoss.
I'm Chadvisionaire.
We also have a special assistant helping us out by the name of Carmen.
Carmen the Stallion.
You know, from Quality Check Live. Shout out to you, Carmen.
Shout out to me. Hey.
You can come say hey.
It's me.
And then, also a shout out to the CEO of Quality Touch Studios, Will Bowser, for sponsoring our pod, letting us use his studios and stuff like that. Shout out to our main man, Antonio Wayside, one of the lead engineers, producers over there at Quality Touch Studios. Also the host of Quality Check Live that you guys can check out every Monday at 10 o'clock on his IG Live. Yeah. But yeah, this is the family right here. We here with it. This is Top Hill Podcast, and we got a special episode.
Special treat for y'all.
Yeah, and
well, it's special to me.
It's special to me too. what we talk about today, Chad? What's going on, man?
All right, let's get into it. So we're talking about the top 10 R&B albums of the decade.
Yes, top 10 R&B albums of the decade.
Hardest thing I ever had to do in my life. One of the hardest things I ever had to do. Because to me, I thought R&B was going to be easy because, the 90s and the early 2000s killed it when it came to R&B.
Yeah.
And I felt like it was slow in the 10s. It was just hip-hop always chart. Hip-hop and pop. Hip-hop and pop. That's all they talked about. It wasn't and another thing is I noticed it's not a lot of R&B superstars. It's a lot of hip-hop superstars. So I was like, man, it's going to be easy. But when I went through it, I was like, man.
Another thing too, the lines really got blurred in the 2010s. You had a lot of rappers singing, a lot of singers rapping.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like almost to the point where you really can't tell the difference between hip hop and R&B. Just because you got people like Drake.
Cousin, man.
Yeah. So, but anyway, we did our best. We were working on this all week for the past couple of weeks.
Not me, man.
Yeah, I know.
That's because we came. You told me pretty late, so.
No.
Everybody told me late.
No.
I didn't have that much time to really.
We're gonna discuss this later. Anyway, let's get right into this. We can go over the criteria of how we came up with our decision.
Okay.
So the criteria for this category, the top 10 albums of the decade for R&B, are going to go as follows. Number 1, your cultural impact. What kind of impact did you leave on the culture? Not just with your music, but also outside of music.
That's a major one.
Lyrics and vocals. What you talking about? Do you have any substance? Beat selection. You gotta come with some dope beats, man. Without the beats, you only got half of a song. Quality. How well can you put this together? And then the last one, which is important to me, is skippable tracks. to me, you can have a fire album. You know, you can have 20 tracks on your album, but 5 major hits, and you have 15 skippable songs. That's, to me, that's not a good album to me. You know what I mean? Like you're a decent artist. You know what I mean? That could make decent music and stuff like that. But when it comes in terms of actually delivering a full body of work, that's a special talent in itself. And that's what we really want to highlight.
That's what separates you from the rest of the artists.
Exactly. And that's why I'm so comfortable with my list. And I'm so happy with the people that I got on my list. That shit is fire. I'm ready to go. Ain't nobody beating my top 10 right now.
Well, you go first.
Okay.
Because I ain't that comfortable with the R&B one.
Alright, I'm comfortable with all of it. Alright, so we're going to start off. Now, we're going to give each other only 3 minutes to talk about each album. So we can go ahead and get through this. Number 10 for EmoneyBoss for R&B album of the decade goes to Kissland, The Weeknd.
I agree.
Whoa! The Weeknd. Okay, let me just tell y'all something. The Weeknd is one of those artists, man, that is, to me, a special talent. You know what I mean? He has a sound that nobody else can really mimic, a style that nobody else can contest. He comes from a city that is very unique to us, you know, Toronto, Canada, if you guys are not familiar. And this project right here, and he mentioned it himself, is one of his favorite projects that he ever did. And a lot of Weeknd fans love Kissland for a certain reason. There's certain songs on here that will resonate to people, will only resonate to certain people.
Right.
There's a couple of amazing, you know, standalone tracks on there. You know, he got a couple of Jones. "Belong to the World" is one of my favorite Jones. He had a really interesting music video with that. The "Wanderlust" Jones with Pharrell. That is a timeless song to me that could be played for generations and generations. Yeah, man. Kissland is an amazing, full, cohesive album. Like, it fits together. I mean, you get where he's coming from the start with Professional. With the song "Come On" with Professional, he really set the tone for the entire album. You never really get lost. You know what I mean? Like, it's not one of those albums that you could just fall out and be like, oh, okay, you know, and then come back in. No, he has your attention from start to finish. So that's my number 10 for R&B album of the decade.
All right, my turn. Wow, that was a good one because I totally forgot about that.
The Weeknd, man.
Yeah, so, wow. I don't know if I can beat that.
I know you
gonna hold you that.
It's okay.
But my 10th one is Bryson Tiller.
Trap Soul?
Trap Soul. And the reason why is because I felt like from that one song alone.
Exchange?
No, Don't.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that was such a mega hit. Like, that one single alone really put, like, he dropped it literally on SoundCloud and it just took off.
What was it?
It pretty much did his own thing. So, from that song alone, I was like, man, I'm interested in hearing what he got to say. So he dropped this project called Trap Soul. And from start to finish, I like it because he told about him, like who he is. Like, no, I'm not from Toronto, I'm not from these places y'all think I am, because it's similar to Drake and The Weeknd's type music. I'm from, I don't even remember where he's from. I don't want to.
He's a funny from the South, so almost like.
Yeah, somewhere from the South.
Like Memphis,
I don't
Tennessee,
want
or some
to.
shit.
Yeah, so.
I think he is from Memphis.
I think he's from Memphis. I wasn't even trying to be funny like that, but like, yeah, I think he's from somewhere like that.
Yeah, I don't want to disrespect him, man. So he starts off with of course, the intro, and then the second song, "Let 'Em Know." Right there, I was locked in. "Let 'Em Know" was one of the songs people repeatedly play. Very upbeat, up-tempo song. "Don't," of course, was biggest single. You mentioned "The Exchange." That was a really good one too. So he had hits on here, man. That really solidified him. Like, ever since he dropped that song in this album, that's when he took off. Everybody wanted to work with him.
Yeah.
I remember DJ Khaled was like, "I need this kid in the studio, bring him ASAP." And he had him on the album. So
he did a joint with Rihanna.
Right.
Yeah, Wild Thoughts.
So that says a lot, like, for somebody DJ Khaled's caliber for him to be like, yo, I want this kid to be on my album, like that says a lot.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't have too much to say about it, but shout out to Bryson Tiller. That's my number 10.
I'm not even gonna hold. That's a good number 10, man.
And I put it last minute.
he was close, man. He was close on my list too. He was definitely on my radar. But he couldn't beat Kissland the weekend for me. All right, so number 9 is going to go to the Queen herself, Beyonce.
Okay.
Self-entitled album, Beyonce.
Okay. That was a good one.
Beyonce, she's obviously Beyonce. I mean, what else can you say about her? It's just she's the queen of R&B. You know what I mean? She's one of the #1 selling artists of all time. She's known as one of the best performers of all time. She is just
#1 artist of all time. Right now.
Yeah, it's like, what else do you say about Beyonce that you don't already know? So basically, this album, it came out fairly early, and I like this album because it felt different from her past projects. I think it's because, I don't know, it could be just me, I like darker themed music, and this one was a little dark, if you think about it, you know what I mean? You have songs here, Pretty Hurt, Haunted, No Angels, Jealous, Mine. It was a little bit darker, a little bit more melodic, it's a different sound from, you know, B-Day or, you know, the Love on Top song or whatever, you know what I mean, that she's used to doing. So I actually like this version of Beyonce. You know, she had mega hits on here, Flawless. She had the Don't Mind featuring Drake.
That was a bop.
Yeah, yeah, Carter said that was a bop. Definitely was. So this album right here, definitely I want to give shine to Beyonce. I think she definitely deserved the #9 spot with this. And yeah, who knows what's coming up. You know?
Okay, man, he's starting strong.
Yeah, man.
Alright, let me look at my list real quick. Fresh my memory. Okay.
Oh man, this is where you lose me. This is where you lose me, right here.
This one? Are you tripping? Sorry guys, I'm trying to pull up the album. Alright, help me out here. You know I'm not good at pronouncing.
Sorry, you're 3 minutes. I don't even know what the Fruitian.
It was Daniel Caesar. Oh, my #9 is Daniel Caesar. I don't know how to pronounce this. Fruitian. My bad if I mispronounced it. I think it's well deserved to be on this list. It's his first official studio album. Mm-hmm. He has 2 songs on here that are known. It's gonna be one of those 2 songs that's gonna be wedding songs forever. Okay. It's one of them Casey JoJo type songs that people always play on their wedding, whatever. He definitely has 2 songs, and y'all know what I'm talking about. Best part, and what's the other one? Right, and I think it's We Find Love. I can't remember, but to be honest, I didn't get the review and go back and do my homework, but I just remember it once I seen this art cover and I was looking for the best R&B hip hop. I was like, best R&B albums. I was like, this is the one right here. Daniel C had a moment. People never forgot about the two songs alone that I just mentioned. So I can't really speak much about it. I remember it was a vibe. I never skipped the track. I did go back to it a few times last year and the year before that. I just didn't go back to it this year. So shout out to Daniel Caesar. That's all I have to say. #9.
I don't have much to say about that album except that it's not better than Beyonce's Beyonce.
I think it is.
That's all I can say about that one.
That's one of Beyonce's worst albums. Shots fired.
The Beehive, you have all rights to attack Chadvisionaire tonight.
They would agree with me.
No. Let's come on now.
They would.
That's Beyonce. The self-titled.
There's so many albums I put before that.
I mean, you can put albums.
You forgot I was a Beyonce fan before everybody. A lot of people.
There's still other Beyonce albums. Yes, there is. But I'm talking about this decade too. You gotta remember from 2010 to now. So
there's 2 from this decade I put, but
we'll get there. We'll get there. All right. So anyway, number 8 for EmoneyBoss is gonna go to Blonde, Frank Ocean.
why so low?
Why so low? Because I said so. Frank Ocean's Blonde album, it was polarizing. You know what I mean? It was something different. You know what I mean? It's a sound. Frank Ocean is obviously unique, right? He's not like your typical artist. He's like a unicorn. He don't be popping up everywhere. You don't know where this nigga is going to pop up and perform or anything like that. But this album, I actually liked it. I'm not the biggest Frank Ocean fan, but I actually liked this album a lot. And the song that drew me to this album, this song, honestly, I could put this song on repeat like for as long as I need to. But that song, Nights.
Oh.
That song, Nights, is on a level of like, that's what you call a completed, done, finished. You can't do anything else to that song to make it better. You know what I mean? It's just one of those songs, man. It's just like, you can't get any better than this. Like, I can't imagine the song being any better than what it is. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, the song is called Nights. It's on Blonde by Frank Ocean. Check it out. You'll know what I'm talking about. He also has some other jumps on there. Some surprises on there, too. It's always good to have a little bit of a surprise on your album. But the biggest surprise on the album came from the 10th song on the album, called Solo Reprise. Mm-hmm. You thought that you was going to hear Frank Ocean. No, you heard Andre 3000 rapping his black butt off. You know what I mean? He was spitting on that jump. And I'm just like, where are you? Come out.
Right.
But Andre 3000 and Frank obviously have a good relationship. He was also featured on the song on Channel Orange. So, Andre and Frank Ocean, they're both unicorns. They don't show up anywhere. Like, you don't know where these guys are.
Definitely are unicorns.
Yeah. But he has some other dope songs on here. Godspeed is another, joint on here that I'll definitely shout out. Obviously, Ivy, Pink and White. So, I mean, obviously, Blonde is an amazing album. So, he's going to be number 8 for me.
Cool. All right. Number 8. That was your number 8.
That was my number 8. What's yours?
I'm going to have to switch it up on y'all.
Oh, man. Here we go.
Miguel. Kaleidoscopic Dreams.
I forgot about that.
I forgot about it too, and I was at work the other day, and again, I was just doing my research.
Mm-hmm.
Miguel definitely had some bops in like 2010
bro,
to 2012. Like,
he had his moments.
Bro, when I listened to this album, I was just like, I was in the zone, bro, like at work. But the song that really stuck out to me that I first played was How Many Drinks.
yeah,
That song,
Hey, K-Dot, what's up?
that song is perfect, bro. Like, there's, like you said about Frank Ocean's Nights, same thing about this record. How Many Drinks, that record, I played that shit like 5 times when I was at work.
That was a dope collab.
That was a dope collab, dope song. Like, there's nothing bad I could say about that. He had another hit song on here, Adorn.
Mm-hmm.
I love the Kaleidoscopic Dream. The whole theme to this album fits with the title of the whole album. So, man, like, I was locked in from the first song. I like how he put his single as the number 1 song. So I was like, all right, I'm definitely listening to that. Then go to the second song. Second song was great. Right, like,
it's a challenge for artists to do that. You know what I mean? When you put your hit song as the first track, and then your second track got to make sure it keeps your attention. It's got to be at least equal or enough to be like, okay, I'm here to stay.
Yeah, I thought it was smart, man. And like I said, like, it fits with the title. Like, I love me and you, like, that spacey type vibes. Like, so yeah, it just took me out of my zone. I was just on another planet when I was listening to it, and I love music that just takes me out of this world. So Shout out to Miguel, man. I had to put you on there. And I seen that man at Broccoli City. He's a great ass performer.
That's what I heard.
And I heard a lot of these songs off of here.
Yeah.
So it made me fall in love with it even more. I was like, bro.
His performance, even on the show Rhythm and Flow, was really dope.
Oh my god.
Yeah, they killed that joint, man. Miguel is definitely a class.
I had so many good things about it. I just love your style, man. Because it's like, a lot of people don't have his style as well. Like, he's like Prince and Michael Jackson in a sense where he could get away with wearing that or singing on a song and really get away with it, and nobody else could do it.
Yeah.
Like, nobody else could do what Miguel's doing right now.
Right.
So I had to give it to him. I had to put him on the list.
Definitely had a cultural impact, so
Definitely
belongs on the list. All right. One day I'm gonna learn how to use a Mac, y'all. I'm a PC kind of nigga. Number 7 for EmoneyBoss is going to go to the Queen's sister. It's like, no, I'm not gonna disrespect her like that. She has her own identity.
Yeah.
A seat at the table. Solange. The only reason why I had to give Solange her props and that she deserves to be on the R&B albums of the decade is because she came with it. You know what I mean? She had to deal with what no other artist on the planet had to deal with. Your big sister being the biggest artist on the planet, on the world. Like, you have to first overcome that anxiety of trying to be better than your kin. Right. And she really came with it. You know what I mean? Like, this album definitely is different from anything else that you listen to. It had a cultural impact. She talked about, black current affairs and what's going on. Do we need a seat at the table or do we need our own table? You know what I mean? Like, there's some really amazing jumps on here when you really pay attention and listen. And obviously, Cranes in the Sky was another one of those songs that were just like
one of my favorite records ever, bro.
Yeah, like this
song is too amazing.
This is something you're gonna play 20 years from now.
Definitely.
Like your kids gonna be like, "Damn, that's kind of cool." You know what I mean? Like this is a amazing.
She's gonna be on oldies list. Like, oh, I like this song too. my grandfather liked this song.
Yeah.
That song's like that.
There's definitely other tracks on here too. Mad. She had Lil Wayne as a feature on here too. I thought that was dope. The song Fubu, Force by Us.
Oh yeah, I got a lot of good things to say about this.
Yeah, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I just like how the feature she used somebody that's not in the sense of her own lane.
Yeah.
Like you would expect her put J. Cole or somebody,
right.
Kendrick, but she took somebody outside somebody in the streets. She did it with the second project. And she had Playboy Cardi.
Yeah.
That didn't make sense at all.
Right.
But the way she orchestrated Playboy Cardi into her song, that shit was phenomenal. Like he was supposed to be on that song.
Right.
But yeah, I just had to say that.
Yeah,
I just love her for that.
Yeah, so shout out to Solange. Album was amazing. Check it out. That's all I can say about that one. All right, man.
That's a good one.
Number 7.
That's a really good one, actually. Okay, we got number 7, right?
Yeah, number 7.
Okay, 7 and 6 was pretty tough. I had to keep switching them.
Start getting to that grind right here, man.
Yeah, it's grinding. So I'm gonna give it to Anderson .Paak Malibu. I just sent it to my cousin. Shout out to Antonio. I sent it to him the other day. I said, this is probably one of the most flawless albums I ever listened to. And I forgot about it. But you know what's funny? I got that CD in my car. I actually bought this CD.
Have you heard Ventura too?
No, oh yeah, I did. I ain't go back to it, to be honest.
I didn't either.
But this album, I actually bought this album. Like I played it in my car. Mm-hmm. It was definitely something like I was like, yeah, I have to have this album. Mm-hmm. And I think I forgot about it because he does so much of music.
Yeah,
he raps. He sings very well. He plays every instrument.
There's a lot of good live stuff too.
He was pretty much behind the scenes, and he worked with your favorites like Dr. Dre, Kendrick Lamar.
That Compton soundtrack.
Yeah,
that's where I discovered.
He had his hands on that.
Oh my god,
he had his hands on that. So, this guy right here is just what you call a gifted musician.
Yeah.
You don't have a lot of those, especially in the game right now. Like, no disrespect to people, you know, that create music and art, but this is somebody actually you be like, you respect. Like, you can put him in the studio and be like, yo, I need something. I need you to play on the keys. I need you to do this. I need you to do that. And he's going to execute very well.
Right.
So, from the first song called The Bird, that's when I was just in tune. Let me see if I can find his hit song. You remember his hit song over here? I know he had one.
I mean, I don't know, man. Anderson .Paak, he
It don't even matter.
He don't have a hit song, and I think that's the thing about him that kind of throws me off a little bit. He doesn't have a jump that'd be like, oh, that's the Anderson .Paak song. You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't have that. He just has decent enough music. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I think that's what really separates him from the Miguels and the Weekends and the other.
Yeah, the impact wasn't there, but I had to put this on there because the albums is so, like I said, so fucking good. It's completely flawless. Like, you can't. I could not just leave this off of here. It's one of those probably just like had to be mentioned top 10. So shout out to Anderson .Paak.
Moving on. Number 6. From the 6, The Weeknd, again, with Beauty Behind the Madness. This album right here, nigga. This is honestly The Weeknd at his peak of R&B, in my opinion. This album right here, you get a lot of The Weeknd's best vocals, in my opinion, like on a bigger platform, on a bigger stage. This is right before he killed, you know, his old self. You know what I mean? This is like the dark Weeknd that we all know. This was like the last hoorah before, you know, he turned into a motherfucking star boy, as people say. From the beginning, from track 1, you got a song called Real Life. I mean, if Real Life doesn't grab you, then I don't know what will. Real Life is an amazing song. Then you got Losers up next. Then you got Tell Your Friends. You got a remix with Drake on there. Often, The Hills, Acquainted. So a lot of dope music on that album. Give me one break. We're about to go take a break real quick. We'll be right back with the second half of the top R&B albums of the decade. Welcome back to part 2 of the top 10 R&B albums of the decade. I'm your boy EmoneyBoss
Chadvisionaire.
Thank you guys for tuning back in. We are back live. And also, if you're checking us out on all of our podcast platforms, on Apple, Spotify, Google, Breaker, Anchor, you know, somebody else's Anchor. I don't know. We there. Shout out to all of our international viewers as well, too.
Yeah, shout out to y'all. I appreciate y'all, for real.
Yeah, we got a lot of love from Africa, man. And I
feel like I'm connected to y'all already, so big ups to y'all.
So now we're going to start off with number 6. For EmoneyBoss, number 6 is going to go to the man from the 6, The Weeknd. The Weeknd dropped an album called Beauty Behind the Madness, and this to me was The Weeknd's send-off from that old Weeknd, you know what I mean, that we're used to. That trilogy, that, you know what I mean, House of Balloons, Thursday, Echoes of Silence, you know what I mean, Kissland. You know, and this is the last one I feel like we got a lot of soul and from The Weeknd. Starting off with the first track, you got Real Life. Real Life is an amazing track. It brings you right into the album. And The Weeknd is really good at grabbing your attention from the start. And we talk about this all the time. Always want to give credit to Ice Cube and Kendrick. But they mentioned if your intro doesn't grab your audience, then, you know what I mean, you lost the battle pretty much right there. Start from the intro. You know what I mean? Make us want to hear what else you got on your project. And The Weeknd does that for you every time. So Real Life starts off strong. You got Losers, Tell Your Friends, Often, The Hills, Acquainted, Can't Feel My Face, Shameless, Earned It, In the Night, As You Are, Dark Times, Prisoner, and Angel. This is a perfect, cohesive project. And a lot of people, I think, they feel like this is when The Weeknd started growing a little bit pop because, he did the song Earned It. Earned It, obviously was a huge song for 50 Shades of Grey, which I think really catapulted The Weeknd's career from just being like that black kid from Toronto that does dark music to, we could see him doing major movie music and stuff like that. And, that's why you got a Ryan Coogler and Kendrick Lamar reaching out to him to do the song Pray For Me on Black Panther soundtrack. He kind of stayed in that lane. They know The Weeknd is a huge artist that could definitely transcend all across the board internationally. So shout out to The Weeknd, Beauty Behind the Madness, an amazing project. It's number 6 for me.
Okay. Another Weeknd.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, he is the king.
You know how that shit go. Yeah.
He is the king, so I can't even be mad at that. So we got number 6. Okay. Number 6. This is where it gets very interesting. I'm gonna have to give it to Beyonce, Lemonade.
You are a wild Bob. You are wilding. You are wilding.
Beyonce, Lemonade.
Your top 5 better be legit, nigga.
Beyonce's number 6 for sure.
I'm gonna say this top 5 better be.
I'm gonna put it out like this, y'all. Shout out to Bey. I'll never deny she's the queen of R&B. She has solidified herself in the game. Like, there's no denying it. Personally, I'm probably biased when it comes to this. Like, personally, I like old Beyonce before 2010. I feel like that was her best work. I do enjoy her growing as an artist, but me personally, I feel like her best albums were before 2010. Now, Lemonade is a great fucking album. I would give it that. I'm a dude, so it's different for me. So it's a lot of like I'm not trying to be biased, but it's just like a lot of songs that females could really relate to. That's probably what it is for me. But she got the hit song. She got a couple of hit songs on here. Freedom, Formation. There's a bunch of them. Sorry. A lot of anthems that girls be singing in the club, in the car, whatever. My mom, my sister, every girl I know has played this album numerous of times. So I definitely heard this a lot of times. So yeah, that's all I got to say about it. Like I said, I'm a old Beyonce fan, and I do respect where she's at and how she's grown as an artist. But the way my list is set up, I feel like this album in particular is not better than the ones I got on my top 5 right now. So Beyonce
more into herself and who she is and who she wants to be, with being a little bit more pro-black, to giving a little bit more back to her people, and she's doing it in her music and actually in person. You know what I mean? Whether it was her performing at the Super Bowl, paying homage to the Black Panther Party for their 50th anniversary, whether it was, the songs are here. You think about Freedom. With her and Kendrick, just a powerful song. There's so many things that Beyonce, being the number 1 artist of all time, she could just be chilling, kicking back, taking money, doing pop records. But no, she performed Coachella, the biggest concert of all time, and she decided to put on, with a HBCU theme marching band. There's just so many things right here that she put on for the people. She represented her hometown, Houston. She represented black people in this album, and that's all I'm gonna say about it.
This album is definitely number 1 impactful, but when I think about the whole criteria, just to go over the criteria, cultural impact, lyrics, vocals,
big, huge, humongous.
beat selections, quality, and skippable tracks. Like I said, I might be a little biased. This is my personal opinion, but when it comes to the rest of the list, of course her vocals is flawless. Mm-hmm. The beat selections, there was 2 songs that I could skip, which goes to skippable songs. Mm-hmm. The quality was there, but
what song
it just, I think it's All Night. It was towards All Night, and I think it was Forward. These 2, it was between that.
You're skipping All Night, you're wilding. You're wild.
I think it was All Night. I can't remember. It was 2 songs.
It can't be All Night. It's not that. It's not Sandcastles either. It's not Love Drive.
Hey, dude.
It's not. You try to find it. It's not there.
Daddy Lessons I like. I like from the all the way to 6. I can't remember 7, 8.
Oh,
I do remember 10 and 12 because it's both of his songs.
gotta move on. Gotta move on. Chad,
I can't remember it.
Chad just blew me. All right. So going into the top 5, let's just go ahead and get this started because we can't spend too much time on this bullshit. I was like, no. Top 5. Top 5. Number 5 for EmoneyBoss is going to go to Chris Brown. Breezy. You want to guess what album?
I have no idea.
Oh
shit!
Yeah, you probably forgot.
Oh.
This was in the 2010s, bro.
Oh man.
I know. Chris Brown with Fame.
That came out?
This came out, I believe it was 2011. I gotta look at it. 2011. So,
Hold on, yo.
yeah. This album snuck into the 2010s to the 2019. People forgot about this joke, but let me remind you. Let me just start with the first track, Deuces.
Can I look something?
Banger. Go ahead.
What
It's
you about
right
to
there.
look up?
2011.
No,
What else
but
you
Chad,
say?
what you about to look up?
Is it pop or?
Get out of here. Get out of here. Get out of my
You
fucking
need
way.
to look at the
Get out of the
numbers
way.
between Fame and the Indigo.
Yeah, I mean, I'll talk about that. I'll talk about that.
That was
So
too long.
Deuces is the first track off of the album. Then you got No Bullshit with number 3. Another
Yeah,
thing.
hits on there for
You
days.
got Look at Me Now with Busta Rhymes and Wayne. You got some of the other chill Jones, She Ain't You, Say It With Me. Then you got another banger, Yeah, 3 Times. You got next to you got a little Justin Bieber feature in there, you know. With the band, you got a little Ludacris feature in there. People forget about how hot Ludacris was during that time. Beautiful People. I mean, this album right here, like this is definitely beg for it. I mean, Chris Brown obviously is one of the biggest artists of our generation. And this was, to me, one of his biggest projects to date. I like this album a lot more than even some of the newer Jones that came out. He's on a different path right now.
This is best album to me.
Yeah, I mean, this joint is crazy. And when I was looking at the track, I was like, damn, this is all on the same project? This man was crazy wilding during this time, bro. And I would be remiss to not include him and put him in my top 5 at least. You know, shout out to Chris Brown, Chris Breezy, boy from 2 Up, 2 Down.
That's a good one because I totally forgot about that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. So it's on you, bro. Top 5 for you.
Well, I can't put them on there now, so I have to. We had number 5, right?
Number 5.
Money gonna be mad. The Weeknd. House of Balloons. The Weeknd House of Balloons. To me, probably his best project. Hold on.
Nigga, what?
No, finish what you want to say.
I'm trying to think.
Okay.
Cause I like Starboy. I like I'm not a Weeknd fan though.
We see.
Right.
What's the last one he came out with? It was Starboy?
He also had a little project called Dear.
What was the joint with the orange cover?
Yeah.
Where
It was like 6-7 tracks on it. It was more like an EP, not an album.
What was the joint that came before
It was
Starboy?
Starboy. Starboy was the last album.
What came before Starboy?
Before Starboy was Beauty Behind the Mask.
Okay, yeah, I really like the one you meant. Yeah, I really like that one. But I think this is his best project. This is the first project that I listened to from The Weeknd, and I immediately tapped in. This is where I was just like, I never heard nothing like it ever. Like he was saying earlier, there's nobody that sounds like The Weeknd. As far as his voice, the beat production, his vocals is flawless. The overall theme was flawless. Like, there's nothing really bad I could say about it. I think it's definitely memorable because it's just like I remember everybody talking about it because this was during the mixtape days and it was on Dat Piff. I remember it being on Dat Piff and everybody literally was talking about this. And then he eventually turned it into an album because this mixtape was so good. So, yeah, man. That's strong number 5 for me.
Okay, all right. I'm not gonna say shit right now. Do we got any comments? Any comments in there?
No.
All right. So,
Somebody said do hoops and hooligans.
What's that? Another weekend?
no, that's not another legal song. I don't know what that is.
Oh.
All right. Anyway, number 4, EmoneyBoss. I'm about to fuck it up with y'all right now. Fuck what y'all heard, and I don't give a fuck if you say this is R&B or not.
That's not R&B.
Shut the fuck up. It's R&B to me. Random access memory. Daft
you fucked up your
Punk.
list, boy.
And let me tell you why. You're gonna let me tell you why. Okay, let me
Y'all
tell you the
looking
track
at me
list.
crazy. I don't know.
Let me tell you the track list, and let me tell you why. Let me first break this down to you. What is R&B? Well, R&B, folks, is rhythm and blues.
Let me bring it up a little bit.
Rhythm and blues. Okay? Take what rhythm is to you, look up the definition, look up blues, look up the definition of that genre of music, and then / soul. Okay? This album represented rhythm, it represented blues, and it represented soul, in my opinion.
And techno.
Yes, okay, fuck it. Okay, if you haven't heard this album, Random Access Memory is an album that pays homage to the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s.
Miss America says you on drugs.
I don't care. I don't care.
And then somebody else commented that somebody in the top should be Bruno Mars, doo-wops and hooligans. I guess that's a
So it's Bruno Mars song. Okay. If that's an album, if that's an album called Doo-Wop and Blues, I'm not familiar with it.
We not hit, bro.
We not hit.
Bruno Mars is a pop artist that they're now trying to make an R&B artist, but he's a pop artist. But this album right here had a lot of rhythm, had a lot of blues, had a lot of soul in it. And to me, it had a lot of live instrumentation that really grabbed my attention. You had somebody like a Pharrell, who was also a instrument in this whole entire project. He was involved on tracks like Lose Yourself to the Dance. That joint, I mean, this is something that they will play on the Soul Train Awards. This is something they will play on Soul Train, period. And people will be, you know what I mean? This is something that our parents will listen to, but also gave you a little bit of a trip. You know what I mean? It had its own sound where it had a little bit of a futuristic sound. Mm-hmm. It had that space sound that me and you both enjoy a lot. So you was able to take a genre that was, you know, traditionally classic, you know what I mean, something that our parents might like, to something futuristic where you can kind of see where this is going. With new 808s, with new drum patterns, with all these different kind of elements, and you fused it into one project, and it sounded to me amazing.
Yo, they went off in the comments.
That's fine. They can go off for me. That's fine. And you know what? To the ignorance of them, I was those people in the comments, because how I got put on the Random Access Memory. This album came out in 2013. This album swept the Grammys. Every single nomination that they was put up for, they won that shit. Okay? They dressed up in these robot suits. They was at the Grammys in 2013. I was watching it. Kendrick Lamar, I thought that was his year. That was Good Kid, Mad City, if you guys don't remember. Good Kid, Mad City was put up for Hip Hop Album of the Year, all that shit. And here I am watching the whole award show. I'm just seeing these robot niggas just picking every fucking award, and I was heated. I was like, man, fuck that punk, man. They're just harder, better, faster, strong. They did the song with Kanye. That's all they good for. They some techno niggas. Fuck them. Blah, 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 blah. And so when they came up with Album of the Year for this album, that you guys want this, Album of the Year 2013. So I went back, and I was like, you know what? Let me just fucking listen to the project. You got Pharrell on here. Let me just listen. First song, Give Life Back to Music. I was sold. I was completely sold. And then the Game of Love. You got Giorgio by Moroder. You got Within. You got Instant Crush. You got Lose Your Dance. You got Touch. Get Lucky. Also another Pharrell track on there. Beyond, Motherland, Fragrance and Time.
Get Lucky was crazy.
It's
like one of my favorite songs.
It's amazing, bro. And if you love Get Lucky, or if you even remotely like Get Lucky, if you listen to some of the other songs on here, you'd be like, damn.
But I don't know if I can consider that R&B though.
Okay, some people may not want to consider it R&B.
And actually, if you don't mind me reading the comment.
That's fine. Go ahead. What the comment say?
They said, one, you put Daft Punk higher than Beyonce?
First of all, I'm not done.
And then secondly, they said, Google says Daft Punk genre listed as house, electronic, and disco.
That's completely fine. You can look at Google all you want, but I'm talking about I'm talking about random access memory. I'm not just talking about their past projects, what they did was stronger. Yes, they are a techno, dance, more influenced artist. But that's like saying, okay, Drake doesn't make R&B music. When he gives you songs like Just Hold On, We're Going Home. That's a fucking R&B record, okay?
But
Marvin's Room.
Isn't Drake also like listed not only hip hop artists, R&B artists as well?
No, he's not. He is not.
He's strictly a
He is
hip-hop.
not. Look it up. Drake is not listed as an R&B artist anywhere, okay?
Oh.
But he will say that he does R&B music.
He does make R&B records.
So I mean,
Fire and Desire. I mean,
so to bring you guys to the times and what these guys are trying to tell you, don't put me in a box, okay? What Kanye was saying too, don't put me in a box. I am not just this. I can do other music. I can hop on music with Pharrell. I can hop on music with The Weeknd and make these kind of music. The Weeknd's R&B, right? They did two songs on Starboy with The Weeknd. Okay, so to me, they fit to me in R&B. When I listen to R&B, I want something that can either put me in the right rhythm, or it might have some blues, it might have some darker music into it, or it might have some soul to it. And you can't tell me not one of these songs hit the soul. So that's my definition of an R&B record. That's number 4 for me. I don't give a fuck what y'all say. Number 4 for you.
That's a pretty good point. That's pretty good. I can't be mad at that. At first I was like, come on, man.
I know. I knew I was going to get heat for this. I already knew that. Because people just want to read the hype. They just want to read the headline. Wait, I looked up Daft Punk and it said that this. Okay, listen to the album. You tell me what's R&B or not.
It is a really good album. This is something I have on repeat. And Daft Punk is top 10, one of my favorite artists. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
really?
Yeah, it actually is. I grew up listening to Daft Punk. You guys, Imani, I used to be on them heavy.
Yeah.
Number 4. Let me pull up my list real quick. Okay. Which is already on Imani's list. Solange. Seat at the table.
Damn, she made it up there, huh?
Yeah, she did.
You could be mad at that.
Yeah, because it's like, I'm not going to get too much into it because Imani already touched bases on the album, but like I mentioned before, I think I mentioned her other album before, but I like how, I love her style, like her as a human being, her as an artist.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, like there's pressure when Beyonce is your sister, but this is how I gravitated to her. I felt like with this album and her music, she's saying like, I'm not pressured at all.
Right.
This is really who I am. I make really good music from the soul. And that's all I have to say about it, because you already touched on everything.
She was amazing with this.
She's amazing. Like, you really can't be like, Beyonce helped with this or this is, like, she really solidified herself as an artist. She's an artistic being. So that's a strong 4 for me.
All right. Number 3 for y'all restless niggas. Beyonce with Lemonade. To me, this is a no-brainer.
Beyonce twice.
Yeah, Beyonce twice.
Weekend twice. Beyonce twice.
The Weeknd twice, Beyonce twice. I mean, it is what it is. And the reason why I wanted to shine light on this album, because obviously Beyonce is the queen of R&B. She is the number 1 performer to me right now. She's an incredible artist. I don't know what else to say about this woman that you guys have not already heard 100 times. Beyonce is phenomenal. And I feel like a lot of people don't give her the respect that she deserves, because they're just like, oh, it's Beyonce. She's supposed to be amazing. You know what I mean? But when she gives you amazing shit, celebrate it. You know what I mean? Another album that came out this year that is not spoke about a lot, and, credit to me for not speaking about it as well, too, when it came out. Beyonce came out with an album called The Letter to Africa. It's also called The Gift. It kind of fused with the Lion King soundtrack a little bit, but she had brand new songs on there geared towards just celebrating, her blackness and collaborating with all African artists.
It was good. I listened to it last week. It's really good.
It's amazing. Like I made a playlist where I just took all the Lion King skits off and I just listened to the album. And that album is an incredible project. Definitely, to me, an amazing project for 2019. Definitely a highlight. But Lemonade. What I want to talk about with Lemonade. I remember when this album came out. This is definitely when Beyonce definitely turned her clock. Where this is a whole different Beyonce than what you're used to. This is woke Beyonce at her full force. You know what I mean? This is her dealing with the issues that she had with Jay-Z.
Oh yeah, relationship.
Yeah, her relationship. This is her being herself, being real, being honest. This is also her talking about how she's proud to be.
She was going in on that nigga.
She was going in. She was going in like, and she didn't. And I like the fact she didn't carry that nigga the whole entire album.
Yeah,
she gave him like 3 good songs. Like I remember the line.
Carry that nigga.
I remember the line. She was like, you do this shit again, and you're gonna lose your wife type shit. You know what I mean? Like obviously, Lemonade was an album, and then Jay-Z 444 was like the sweet tea. You know what I mean? They were born to be together. You know what I mean? Lemonade and 444. To me, should definitely be listened to together. If it gives you the man side of the relationship and the woman side of the relationship, and I feel like they blend really well together. But anyway, this Lemonade album is amazing. Pray You Catch Me is a great intro. You got songs on here with The Weeknd and Kendrick Lamar, James Blake as well on here doing a fantastic job. There's not a skippable song on here. You got songs for everybody. You got anthems for the women. You got anthems for the people. You got good music. I don't know. There's not that many albums that are better than this, which is why I put it at number 3.
Okay. My number 3. Oh, yeah, let me just double check just to make sure. I ain't tripping. Alright, Frank Ocean, Blonde. Another one you mentioned before. I think it was too low.
Yeah, I put Blonde at 8.
Yeah, I got him at 3.
Damn.
And I'm gonna be straight up with y'all. Channel Orange was actually at number 3 for me.
Okay.
I switched it because I just kept seeing, and this is not even this year, but when the album came out, people kept saying this is one of the best albums of this decade. They kept saying it when it came out.
Yeah.
And I just slept on it. Like I literally didn't take no time out to listen to it. But when I did, man, sonically, like you said, it's polarizing.
Yeah.
Like, and I like albums like that. Like sonically, where the sound is different. Where his voice was, just everything that was put into each song. I don't want to say that it's the same sound as My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, but I put it up there.
It's influenced.
Influence, yeah. Because you can really, if you're an artist and you listen to this, you can take something out of this, like no doubt, and make something great. But yeah, man, he's like you said, he's a unicorn. Yeah. He does stuff very special, and the songs that stuck out to me is the first song, Nights. As soon as Nights came on, I was already tuned in. Another thing about this is, I can see why people were so hyped to see Frank Ocean live. Yeah. Because I would love to hear this live.
Could you imagine?
Could you imagine hearing this live? Like,
Nice. I can't imagine even what that experience will feel like on the live stage. I don't know what
it's a whole different level, bro. Right. I think he's very gifted at what he do. There's nobody. He's another one just like The Weeknd. There's nobody like Frank Ocean. Yeah. And there was a reason why Kanye and Jay-Z got him early. Right. And got him on Watch on the Throne and Watch the Throne. So yeah, he only got 2 official studio albums out, and people are treating him like he got a whole 10 album discography. Yeah. So I had to put him at 3. Like I was very pleased. Like when I sat down and actually gave him a chance, because I'm not a Frank Ocean fan either. But I sat down, I was like, yeah, this is it. This is it. I listened to it today. I was like, this is the one. Yeah.
I felt the same exact way. When I listened back to Blonde and Channel Orange definitely had, its moments with Thinking About You, Pyramids, definitely has some amazing tracks with that.
I feel like it has most of the standout, like, hit tracks. Mm-hmm. But with this we talking about albums. Right. Like, this is very cohesive.
Exactly. This whole entire track list belongs together. It's incredible. Yeah. We talked about it. So, okay. I mean, can't be mad at that. All right. Oh, man. Here it goes. Number 2. Oh, Lord. Here we go. I got to give it to her, though. I got to give it to her. Rihanna. Rihanna from Barbados.
Okay. It's a good one.
Girl. Anti. what were you on when you fucking made this album? Like, Anti is
The shit was like that.
this album is damn near perfect.
Okay.
It's perfect. Like, I don't know, what do you do? What else? What do you take out? What do you put in? I don't do anything to
Can I
it.
just say something?
What?
Y'all have been out here killing shit.
This okay?
No, listen. Beyonce. You know I got her low.
No. You're not gonna do that. I don't want no parts. I don't want no parts.
I ain't gonna say it on the podcast.
This is what we're not gonna do. We're not
gonna
gonna talk about
podcast.
two of the biggest women. We're not gonna talk about two queens.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do that. I
Hold
want to
up.
separate the two.
We're not gonna talk about two queens and then try to compare them. That's not what I'm about to do.
Just think
we don't
about
do
it.
no.
We don't
We don't do this to the male artists. I'm not gonna do this to the female artists.
We do to the artists.
We don't. Not all the time, bro. Like when we hear Roddy Ricch come out, he's like, "Well, this nigga not better than Meek Mill." He's like, "No, like it's just, you know what I mean?" Like Beyonce is her own woman and her own artist and her respects. Rihanna is her own woman, her own artist and her respects.
I respect that.
And that's, to me, just is what it is. Rihanna's Anti album
Competition
is
too.
number 2 R&B albums of all time, and I've been battling with myself with this album all week. This has been sitting at number 1 all week for me, but it got knocked off slightly today, and I'll tell you why when I get to my number 1. But Anti from the beginning, you got consideration. Okay,
I really
first of
want
all,
to hear what number 1 is. I'm just say that.
yeah, okay,
The Anti is really fucking good.
yeah, Anti damn near.
Definitely my favorite Rihanna album of all
Definitely.
time.
My man.
This album came out in 2016. For people who don't remember, this is almost 4 years ago, and this album can still this album could be played 10 years later. You know what I mean?
Oh, it's timeless.
It's a timeless album. There's not one song in here that you cannot not play. James Jones, Kiss It Better, Work with Drake, Woo with Travis Scott.
Work was such a big record, bro.
Needed Me. Yeah, I said it. Same Old Mistakes, Never Ending, Love on the Brain, Higher, Closely. It's a amazing 1 to 13 album.
The fact that you can sample Tame Impala.
Oh my god, that's the highlight of this
That's
album.
the highlight of the
highlight
whole
of the
album.
I'm
She
glad
sampled
you said
Tame
that.
Impala.
That's incredible.
And made it sound better than what they even did.
pretty much. I'm glad you mentioned that because that shit was like epic.
Big fact.
Epic.
The only critique that I have about this album is there's a song called Good Night Gotham. And the only critique I have about this album, that song is not long enough.
It's not long enough at all.
It's not long. What the fuck?
what song? What
Why
song?
did
What song?
Good Night Gotham?
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, that shit was. I'm like,
Yeah.
when I heard that show for the first time at the end, I was like, no.
But it's like the best songs usually be the shortest.
It do. I peeped that. You know what I mean? Jay-Z did the same thing with Versus and Beaches when he did the Magna Carta joint. You know, there's a lot of people that
Girl
do
with
that
the
short.
dragon tattoo, Miguel.
There you go. There's a lot of people who do that, and fuck y'all. Beyonce did that with Kendrick Lamar too, and now the Beyonce album.
Right.
Anyway, Rihanna's number 2, damn near number 1. Chadvisionaire.
Dang, that's a good one, bro.
Comments?
Comments. Let's see the comments. She also sampled Carlos Santana
Carlos Santana.
and fucked it up. And somebody say Rico bye. Because Rico said that shit. Yeah, bye Rico. I'm sorry, bro.
Okay. Number 2 for Chadvisionaire.
Number 2. Y'all ready for my number 2?
It's probably the same damn thing.
Rihanna chocolate. we was on the same page with
that is
shit.
hilarious, bro. That is hilarious. Just in case y'all didn't know, me and Chad came up with this idea, a few weeks back. But we do not talk about our list. We do not conversate who we have on our list, what we're gonna do, what we're gonna say. We make this shit organic. You know what I mean? I go in my corner, I make my list. He goes to his corner, he makes his list. So just so you guys know.
Yeah, you covered it all. Like I'm gonna just list my favorite ones. Definitely the first song was SZA.
Yeah.
James Joint.
She was one of the first people to put SZA on too. The
Yeah.
feature. This is 2016. Y'all remember?
I like Desperado.
Oh my god, yes.
Sitting in the old Monte Carlo. That shit, rock. Same Old Mistakes, of course. Yeah, like I like every song for real.
It's not.
I like how she used Travis.
Yeah,
One
the
that,
Woo. It was Woo.
Yeah, Woo. Yeah, that shit was so dark, and I never seen an R&B artist, and she was the right person to pick to do
She
that.
was so crazy.
She
bro.
went crazy on
This
that.
shit is so crazy.
Yeah, man. Like, Yeah, that's strong number 2 for me.
All right, so the only album
Oh, number 1.
that could be number 1.
The only. Okay.
I mean, we ranked this.
I think my
on-
number 1's gonna surprise him. He gonna be like, damn.
We'll see what happens. But the number 1 R&B album of the decade is going to go to Abel, The Weeknd.
3 times, my nigga.
3
Oh my
times.
God.
And let me tell you why.
He a big
Let me
fan
tell
for
you why.
real.
Kissland was number 10.
Oh.
Beauty Behind the Madness was 6.
Oh,
But number 1 is going to go to The Weeknd with Trilogy. You cannot tell me
And that's
that
scary.
Trilogy was not in a complete.
Trilogy
It
was
impacted
The
world.
world.
Okay.
Okay, the sound that he brought to the. Okay, yeah, Drake brought in would take care a little bit, but The Weeknd solidified that shit with Trilogy.
I probably should have put that on there. Said House of Blues.
Yeah, when you put a House of Blues up,
I
you
didn't
really
have
say.
no time.
So let me give you guys a little backstory of what happened. Okay, The Weeknd had a run in 2011. He dropped 3 mixtapes: House of Balloons, then Thursday, then Echoes of Silence. Those were all mixtapes. And while he did those 3 mixtapes, he wanted to make a dark, mysterious kind of vibe. He was not in any music videos. He did not show his face. He did not show his album artwork in his face or anything like that. This person wanted everything to be a mystery. So people were going around thinking, including myself, I thought The Weeknd was a whole band. I thought it was just a whole band of
Yeah, I did too.
singing this shit. And then,
Hey, The Weeknd.
right, and then when I found out this was one person
Yeah.
singing like this, I hear hot. I don't even have to look at the track list. High for this, bro. I can't tell you how many times I could play that first track on House of Balloons and I'm gone. I can just press play. I don't have to do anything else. I just know I'm going to be taken on a trip. I'm going to be taken on a trip and I don't have to do anything else. This is something that nobody has ever done before. He promoted himself in a way that was organic and new and fresh during that time, where he was giving people free music. And then turned around in 2012 and said, okay, I'm going to put them together. I'm going to add 3 new songs. And now this is an album. You know what I mean? And then now you have people like, okay, you got to respect this person, you know what I mean, for what he did. Because he's still killing the game and killing numbers after his shit was already free. You know what I mean? And then you got, coming from where he came from, Toronto, where there was nobody really supporting him. You know what I mean? You got Drake, you know what I mean? But they had their issues later on and stuff like that. So, I mean, The Weeknd's Trilogy album is a classic album. The Weeknd is also, to me, personally, the R&B king right now. The king of R&B is The Weeknd. The only other person is
You know
Chris.
what? I take that back. He's not the king of R&B. But go ahead.
The only other person that could contest that man's crown is Chris Brown, and they're on 2 different kind of playing fields. Chris Brown is a dancer, performer, singer. Chris Brown is a legendary artist, but The Weeknd is also a legendary artist in his own rights, and I feel like they belong in 2 different lanes in the R&B category.
That's apples and oranges.
It is. It's apples and oranges, but unfortunately, they're both considered R&B. So while I say The Weeknd is the king of R&B, I'm also going to respect Chris Brown. Chris Brown is being a king of R&B as well too. They can be 2 kings. 2 legends can coexist in the name of J. Cole and Drake. Okay.
We get more pop now for me.
Okay. All right, nigga. Listen to the album. Listen to the albums that I listed though.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna listen to
I
it.
listened to Kissland. I did Kissland. I did Beauty Behind the Madness, and I did Trilogy.
Beautiful-
I didn't do
beautiful
Starboy.
Okay.
I didn't do Starboy. I did the R&B albums.
Okay.
Okay? These are The Weeknd's R&B albums.
That's good.
Kissland, Behind the Madness, Beauty Behind the Madness, and Trilogy.
Damn, my man made it 3 times.
Yeah, he did.
But
Because he's that guy.
unfortunately, I feel like I had the best number 1. And I don't care what y'all think, but yeah, it's the best number 1. I'm sorry.
All right.
Are you ready for
Yeah,
this?
go ahead, go ahead.
Are y'all ready for this? Like,
Probably not. Go
I
ahead.
did good on this one.
All right, what you got?
SZA,
Okay.
Control, CDEs, number 1
Chad.
female artist. Chad what?
Not
I'm
number
gonna let him
1.
talk.
Number 1
Number 1.
album of the decade, Chad.
Of R&B.
You got Scissors Control beating Anti.
Yes.
You got her beating all the Weeknd's albums. You got her beating all the Beyonce albums. You got her beating the Chris Brown album.
Wait, Control had Love Galore and...
It had Love Galore, Fire.
Yo! I love that album, don't get me wrong, but I can't put that over Anti, bro.
I mean, go ahead, speak your truth.
Yeah,
say what you
we ain't gonna interrupt.
Yeah, go ahead, say what you need
Go
to say.
ahead,
Give us the track list.
yeah.
Give us the music. Tell us why you believe this album is number one.
I feel like SZA's number one in this album solely based because of she's a true R&B artist. I feel like it's been a long time since we had somebody like Erykah Badu or Jill Scott or Mary J. Blige and those type of calibers, like true R&B music, love felt, soulful music. I feel like SZA really brought that back to the game, but she executed in a way to where it wasn't too old school, but she threw in a new school as well. And she did that with adding Travis Scott on one of her hit songs. Let me see. Love Galore, like Antonio Wayside said. But yeah, man, like this album from start to finish is just another one that's just flawless. And I believe this album, I don't really care about numbers, but I just have to throw this out there. I think this album went double or triple platinum. We could look that up right now.
Comments is roasting your ass right now. They said they thought you were gonna say Summer Walker.
SZA's that was way better than Summer Walker's, right? I'm sorry, y'all tripping. Y'all got bad taste. Y'all think Summer Walker's.
Let me help you guys out. Let me help you guys out. Summer Walker came out in 2019, one of the weakest years in music, period. So when you have a Summer Walker album come out, like Over It, and you haven't heard good R&B music in a good span of time, you're gonna go ahead and gravitate to that album. You know what I mean? Summer Walker is a dope artist. I like her. I like her music. I like her album. But it's not, to me, top 10 R&B albums of the decade after what we just listed. She's not out here with Chris and The Weeknd and Beyonce and Rihanna yet.
No, she's not.
She got time to prove herself though.
But yeah, this album definitely went platinum.
She done music.
She's done music. Oh man.
And then she has another hit record on here that y'all forgetting. The Weeknd. That everybody went crazy over on the that drink was trending on Twitter for like 2 weeks straight.
Yeah, The Weeknd was an amazing track.
People just kept talking, and people had the wrong perception of this song.
You know,
so it created conversations.
Let us not forget about Doves in the Wind as well.
Doves in the Wind
featuring Kendrick Lamar was an amazing
But
track.
she kept creating conversations like
Broken Clocks.
Broken Clocks,
Yes.
which is my favorite track on this album. But yeah, man, and then I just love how she's a normal girl. She has a song called Normal Girl. So she's normal, and I just love the context of this whole album. She's another one that's being her. She doesn't have she's not like a Nicki Minaj with a fat ass, big titties. It's that she's like accepting who she is and shit like that. So I mean, don't get me wrong, this is bad.
I don't think you've seen her IG lately.
Nah, this is bad. But I'm just talking about she embraced her natural look. Which I feel like in this day and age, in this decade, they don't embrace that.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a wave of that coming around. You know, shout out to Ari Lennox. You know, shout out to Lizzo. Shout out to her. Shout out to all these beautiful black queens coming out. Representing themselves. Megan. You know, there's a lot of women out here that are just killing it. Even down to the City Girls and Cardi and Nicki and all of y'all. Yeah.
Yes. Complete album, right? And I bought this album too, and I played it numerous of times. So.
All right, guys. Me and Tech argue all day long about this, but I would like to hear what you guys have to say. Leave us a comment, mention us in our DMs. We will create a poll with all the R&B albums that we did pick. We're gonna put the poll out. You guys go ahead and rank it, vote it, whatever, and tell us whose list you guys like the most. But yeah, what's up, Antonio?
Chad, go on your Instagram real quick. Type in SZA's Instagram and just look at it recently.
Oh, I know, bro. I seen.
You probably been there already.
Okay.
You already double tapped that. But yeah, so that is the top R&B albums of the decade. I appreciate you guys for tuning in to this first part. Make sure you guys tune in to the next part.
We're about to get into the hip hop
albums of the decade. Shit's about to get real.
Let's hear your R&B's again.
Yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and do a recap. EmoneyBoss Top 10. I got number 10, Kissland with The Weeknd. Number 9, Beyonce, self-entitled album, Beyonce. Number 8, Blonde, featuring Frank Ocean. Number 7, See at the Table, Solange. Number 6, Beauty Behind the Madness, The Weeknd. Number 5, Fame, Chris Brown. Number 4, Random Access Memory, Daft Punk. Number 3, Lemonade, Beyonce. Number 2, Anti, Rihanna. Number 1, The Weeknd with Trilogy. A classic. A fucking classic album.
The biggest Weeknd fan ever.
I don't give a fuck. You put SZA Control number 1. Go ahead, give me your listening.
Number 10.
Yeah.
Number 10, Bryson Tiller, Trap Soul. Number 9, Daniel Caesar. I don't even know how to pronounce the name of the album, but it's a good
It shouldn't be in
album.
your top 10 then. Go ahead.
It should be. But number 8, Miguel, Kaleidoscopic Dreams.
Mm-hmm.
Where am I at? Number 7, Beyonce, Lemonade. No, I had number 7, Anderson .Paak, Malibu.
Mm-hmm.
I had Beyonce at number 6, Lemonade. Number 5, The Weeknd, House of Balloons. Then I had number 4, Solange, Seat Starts at the Table, whatever.
See that table.
Seat at the Table, yeah.
That's your
Then
second.
number 3, Frank Ocean with Blonde. Number 2, Rihanna, Anti. And then number 1, SZA, Control. And I'm pretty confident on this list. No.
Hey, that's all that matters. It's gonna change
Except for
tomorrow.
The Weeknd.
But-
I should have had him off of there.
You're a wild Bob. You're a wild Bob. You don't have not one Weekend track at the R&B album of the decade. You're a wild person. Okay, anyway, guys, that's the first part of our podcast of this end of the year special, bringing in 2020 right, closing out a decade, closing out a year. 2020 is just gonna be amazing, man. We put that shit down on paper. 2020 is gonna be incredible, you hear me? Once again, shout out to our family, Quality Check Live. Shout out to Will Bowser, CEO of Quality Touch Studios. Shout out to Antonio Wayside, the head engineer, producer at Quality Touch Studios. Shout out to Carmen, the Stallion, for being our assistant, and also at Quality Check Live. We love y'all. Tune in to the second part where we're going to dig into the top 10 hip-hop albums of the decade. Shit is about to get real.
I'm excited.
Tune in. Close us out, man.